now that you have told all the skills and knowledge, and as you mentioned that there are not enough degrees or qualifications, as you said, which are enough to enter the risk management sector. So, in your experience, will there be any kind of practical experience like internship or projects that would be beneficial for a student studying risk management?
Just I would like to, correct you, from your previous response, that whatever, is available from, the risk management certification is about enterprise risk management and operational risk management, cybersecurity. And I think in the today's concept, that is, to cater the market. But what I was trying to say is that, especially from the insurance and financial risk management point, that was my, the specific point. Now coming back to your, this question about internship and the practical side of it, that definitely helps in understanding the practical aspect. I think one of the things that one should do is to read the case studies. That's it does not require anything else rather than going through the various case studies. What has happened in the past? That gives a very good idea. For example, Silicon Valley Bank. What has happened? There was the liquidity crisis. 2008 economic crisis. There are various things happen around 2020 COVID. So there are, apart from this, there are various other case studies available to understand that what are the key big areas which enables the failure of the organization. That's the first thing to understand. Coming to the practical aspect, definitely it helps a lot. Taking the internship, particularly I would suggest within the risk management department, and getting into that, understanding the nitty-gritty of it. Risk management job is not an easy job because you raise the challenges, you ask questions to the management, and it is a tough job. Students are going to learn those things, those aspects, right? So definitely a practical aspect is always helpful. There are within the insurance companies, if risk management is not there, then I would suggest the closest is the underwriting, the claims, where you get the elements of this, the risk element of it, how the claim is managed, investment. So my first pick will be definitely the risk management. And if people don't get in the risk management, then what are the areas closest within the risk management, like persistency, so that getting some practical experience, because these comes under the risk. If you go into the claim management, it comes under the management of mortality risk. If you go to the underwriting, it comes under the management of mortality. If you go to the risk reinsurance, it comes under the management of mortality. If you go to the persistency, it comes under the management of the lapse risk. Right. So there are areas that should be taken up, but one should be clear that what is the objective, and that clarity is required whether one want to work in risk or in actuarial. Otherwise, there could be kind of because the routes are different. The actuarial route, if somebody wants to be an actuary and then take the risk management, it's a different thing. But if somebody wants to be a risk management professional, then he or she can take a route midway and then branch it out.
And so the last question would be that I know we have already spoken about qualifications in the beginning, and you mentioned a few other qualifications in answer to question number 3. But if you could specifically pinpoint that some other certifications that a student can pursue in this field.
Yeah, I think from the risk management perspective, I have spoken it about. what others, which helps in developing one as a good risk management professional, is about AI ML, which is the area which is coming it up. And the whole idea is again coming back to the origin, what the risk is. The risk is understanding the uncertainty about what the future in the future is. And if your AI ML can help in quantifying those risks better, then that is the added advantage. And any organization would like to have such skill at their with them, right? So AI ML, data analytics, where with the help of these skills, the quantification, risk identification, or risk measurement can be improved. That is where the future skill will be required. So these are the additional areas which can be very handy apart from. And if somebody wants to do more, then definitely I would suggest that they can read the SP paper of if they want in life insurance, then SP2, which is life insurance, or general insurance. SP9 they can read it to enhance their the skills, even if they pass it or not, they or if they want to attempt the examination. And last is that one should be a constant reader, because it's a very dynamic field. One should be very good in economics, because economics is the breeding ground of lots of risk in the future. So one should be a very good reader. One should be understand the dynamics all the time, what is happening, because risks are emerging. So one need to know the emerging risks. So you cannot say that I have done it and it's over. No. On a daily basis, you have to be prepared that what is the new thing that is coming it up, and prepared, because that's where your organization make it effective. And that's what is changing. For example, the most recent example is the tariff war. What is the impact on the insurance company is going to have in next 3 years' time because of the tariff? I think there should be a good analysis and a good report should come out, like within the next 3 months' time. I think these things, that should be the requirement to have a proactive risk management rather than having reactive risk management. Risk management, should always be proactive rather than once the event has happened and then we are doing, that is not called the risk management. It is called the crisis management. So we should, stay away from the crisis management and get into the risk management.
So basically, prevention is better than cure. That is what risk management should be all about, because it's an ever-changing dynamic.
Yes, it is ever changing, and you can see that, and it will be ever changing. Another good classic example is the climate risk. We do not know what is the change in the climate in the next 6 months' time and the 1 year's time, and it can totally change the dynamics of the world in next 1 year's time if things changes. So yes, it is, and therefore I said one thing: what if mindset. It is all in the mindset. Most of the people I have interacted in the past is when we tell and go to the people and tell them that this is a risk, the immediate response that we get is no, it will not happen. As if they know it, that it is not going to happen. And why it will not happen? Because it has not happened in the past. 99% of the people have got this mindset. And I think that is why risk people get their salary. Because they think that it can happen. That's the difference between the two classes of the people. The 1% people who think it can happen, another set of people who think it will not happen. Right? So that's where I talked about what if it can, and therefore in this there is something called stress and scenario testing. And in many banking and the financial institutions, it is required. You have to do certain scenario and stress testing to see that if this happened, then what if? How you're going to manage it, right? That's what
Yes.
is required. Yeah, somebody just half an hour of before this call, somebody asked me that he wanted to understand the stress testing, and he said that, can we have a call? I said no, tomorrow. So there are things which is people are understanding that what are the tools and techniques required. And once you study these things, get into the in the black and white, the letters, you come to know that you have to get into it and be a regular reader, not once and it is done.
Thank you so much for your insights so far. And now that we have covered some of the bigger picture questions, I'd like to switch the gears a little. I'd like to do a quick round of rapid fire questions. These are just fun and fast questions, so it's okay if you give short answers. So shall we begin?
Yeah.
The first question is, if risk management was a superhero, what would its superpower be?
Ability to handle the future. That is what the risk management is about.
Okay.
Ability to handle the future risk.
The next one would be, which one moment in your professional life would you like to relive?
I have enjoyed thoroughly, and I would continue doing that. So there is no such moment that I would like to relive. I just want to continue and further help and enhance the risk management profession.
Okay. The next would be, would you rather be 100% sure or 60% sure but with 10 times the original reward?
I think one should be take a calculated risk, because it is not a time that you have to always do a downside risk, right? It is also about making the opportunity. And again, it's a future is uncertain. From the uncertainty, you have to take make an opportunity out of it and get a better return. So take a calculator.
Okay. And the next would be, according to you, and because you have so many years of experience, what is that one risk that is worth taking at any age?
Keep learning. Be a continued learner throughout your life, and I will not call it a risk, but it's a way that is going to help anybody. So be a continuous learner.
Okay. And lastly, I think a lot of students would be interested in this. What is the average salary of freshers versus a chief risk level?
Yeah, I think there is always a large gap between the two. I think at least 10 to 15 times. I think CRO salary is somewhere around I would say 60 to 80 lakhs, right? Depending upon the experience. And beginners, I would say 5 to 8 lakhs. That's where it starts. So that's the gap, and if you translate, it will be 10 to 15 times. And one thing I would like to add a caveat for the benefit of the listener, and see, in the Indian market, we still have got the formula-based solvency approach. We haven't yet got into the risk-based capital. And what one need to understand is that once risk-based capital comes, right, then what happens that once you manage your risk, then it optimizes the capital, right? And that's where shareholders get interested in the risk management, compared to right now where regulator is interested in the risk management. So my assessment is that once the risk-based capital, whenever is implemented in this market, enterprise risk management, its level, its requirement, is going to increase, and its importance is going to increase many times into the future. And it can be seen that in the countries where RBC is there, their ERM practices are much more developed. So from that perspective, I'm very optimistic that enterprise risk management in the Indian insurance sector is likely to increase much in the future. Also because the shareholders and the CFO will be interested in that. So what the current level is, my assessment is, it will increase further.
That ends the rapid fire questions. So it's been a pleasure talking, or rather listening to you today. And you have shared some great insights, and we really appreciate the time that you've taken to discuss your experience with us.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
I hope, sir, you were also able.
Yeah,
Thanks so much, sir, 1 second for this session, and we hope that you also were able to share your experience with us, and I hope I was able to host you good enough today.
Yeah, I'm very thankful, for this initiative of Jai Hind College, of talking to the people, getting their viewpoints, and I used to think about that such initiative should be there. So that, and especially it's a very good that how does risk management and actuarial science overlap, what are the common grounds, how so I say that this is a very good initiative, thanks to Dr. Vijay, who basically contacted me for this initiative.